was very lucky still to be here at 101.2. So I'm still connected with the health service. First visit to Starcross, because I went into a ward and saw a chap in a white coat, so I said to him, "Good morning, my name is Bird, I'm on the management committee. I'd like to hear about the ward, can you tell me a bit?" So I asked him a few questions, and then a little chap who was running along behind us, "Mr. Bird, I think I ought to tell you, this is one of the patients, I'm the charge nurse." So they used to use the patients then, the more able ones, to help, you know. So after that I was careful who I spoke to when I went into a ward. We did a lot of visiting, of course, and I'm quite useful. When I joined, as I said, the medical officer of health said he didn't think a parent was appropriate for the committee, but it was quite wrong because we were very appropriate. When I first joined, they pointed to 3 huts, or those huts you call them, you know, wards, at the back of Langdon Hospital, and that's the low-grade wards. I said, "What are they?" "That's the low-grade wards." So I said, "Well, if the low-grade refers to the wards, it's time we had it upgraded. If it refers to patients, I take exception to that because we're all low-grade, even if it's sense of humour or something. What about calling them the high dependency or special care?" So they did, so that was the first, you know, evidence that a parent could be useful. We saw things rather differently. And there were various other things like that I decided I'd go down in the middle of the night once, because I took the view that we were looking after these people 24 hours a day. So when I told somebody I'd go, you won't be very popular down there when you turn up in the middle of the night. When I got there, quite the contrary is true. They said, "You're the first member of the management committee that's visited for years." You know, and they enjoyed being seen there, really. That's the sort of thing where the onlooker could see most of the game, really, who came round. I went in one ward where there were 50 or so people. I said, "Now let's look at the underclothes supplies." They had 2 pairs of pants for 50 men, you know, in the closet. And things like the laundry. When the mothers bought their handicapped son or daughter a jolly nice woolly, it went to the laundry, it came back too small to wear. So they were the sort of things that I could chase up on, and I did. In the early days, you'd sit down for 3 hours sometimes in a waiting room, waiting for a child to be seen. So nowadays the appointment system is very much better. You don't wait that, you do have wait, nothing like 3 hours and so on. So really I've got nothing but praise for the NHS, and they've looked after me, and not that I haven't needed a lot of look after. I had 2 falls recently and very well treated in hospital. I wrote a letter of thanks to the matron afterwards, was much appreciated. As I say, when we started, there was 50 and 60 in a ward. It gradually came down to private residences and so on, with their own rooms and so on. So the care of the mentally handicapped has improved enormously, really, as it has with some of the other things. There are still things that need attention, but on the whole, they got very much better accommodated than they were. I remember going round the hospital one day, doing a visit with my management committee days at Starcross. There was a chap sitting in the car outside, and his wife came out and said, "He won't come in, he can't bear to go in there," you know. So that's improved a lot. There's no big wards there now. Exeter Health Authority was well in the van of improvements from the big hospitals. The mental handicap hospital went on in some places long after Exeter had closed ours down. And I take credit for that, for some of it, because Maincap, in my day, we had about 14 or 15 on the committee. It was a very lively affair, and we put pressure whenever we could on the health authority. And I was friendly with Murray French, who was the chairman, and Peter Jackson, the treasurer. I was able to say to them, "What about doing this, what about doing that?" They listened. And as I say, Exeter was very much in the forefront of closing down the big institutions and transferring to care in the community. You see me shaking hands to the Queen and so on there. And we got there, and of course they announced your name, Geoffrey Bird for services to the learning disabled, and that's what it is. And the Queen says to you, what is learning disabled? And I said, "Mental handicap, Your Majesty." "It must have been very hard work." So I said it was, you know, and then about 2 other words, then out comes the hand and you're just 30 seconds. You can't say a lot in 30 seconds, but that's what it was. Had a lovely day up there, and it was good. In 1967, place called Ellen Tinkham, which you may have come across. It was Ellen Tinkham's house in those days. And the manageress came to me one day and she said to Molly and I, "You look as though you could raise money. I want an indoor heated pool." So I know, right? So I went out there and paced up and down a bit and found out I could get a pool 30 feet in. So we took it on and we managed to raise the money and build the pool, and we opened it in 1967, and 50 years later, which is now, a few months ago, I was invited to the reopening of the pool. A lot have been added, new rooms, new changing rooms. So that was a great job seeing that lasted 50 years. And then the swimming pool, the Friends of Langdon Hospital wanted to build a pool for their view of Langdon. So they come and look at yours, and they took the note of the dimensions of our pool, which I had set up myself. So the one at Langdon Hospital, which is now closed, was an exact copy of ours. So let's illustrate imitation as the sincerest form of flattery. But I think the greatest thing is the idiot hospital, the subnormal mental handicap and then learning disabled, which is a much more kindly way of looking at it. I've got a note, be just provided by 2 friends of Langdon. So that was I felt that the voluntary sector, our lot, were quite useful in the health service in those days. And I've no doubt they've done useful things all over the place since then.